Hello everyone and welcome to Scholist. So today I am going to discuss a very important document which is the SOP or the essay or what we call as the statement of purpose. So for any program that you apply to any university across the world, this is one of the most important documents that we need to submit with our applications. And it has a lot of impact on the admission decisions by the universities. So there are a number of steps that we do follow while writing a good SOP. I am going to discuss a few do's and don'ts of an SOP, which will help you create a very nice document that you can actually be confident with. Okay, so here we go. The first thing is, while you start writing your SOP, understand what an SOP means. SOP is your personal statement plus career goals. So these are the two major components of a statement of purpose. That is your personal statement, who you are, where do you come from, what has been your academic and professional journey so far, what have been some of your most important learning and outcomes and achievements so far. Okay, and then your career goal. Why do you now plan to go for higher studies? Why have you chosen this program for your master's? Why do you think that this university is going to be a good fit for you? And finally, the most important thing, what do you aspire to do with this degree or after completing your higher education in that country? Okay, so these are the two broad components of your SOP. I understand when you have to draft a document, which is you talking about yourself. So there'll be a lot of questions around it. How do I begin? How do I proceed? How do I break it into useful or meaningful paragraphs so that the entire thing makes sense? These are there. And what we have to be very careful about that if the person who is reading it should stay glued to your content or to your SOP, like they are getting the right kind of information they need from you. See, they have your transcripts, they have your resume, they have your other credentials. The question is why even this document is needed. So this is an abstract presentation of you talking about yourself. So not every program has an interview. So you are getting those 2 minutes to 2 to 3 minutes to talk about yourself or let the AdCom know about you. So something about you, when you talk about yourself, that is the best introduction ever. So you definitely have the letters of recommendation where your professors or your supervisors talk about your skills, your weaknesses, your strength, your suitability for the program. But here you are the one who is introducing yourself in the best possible way to the university. Right. So let's come to the do's and the points which are very important for you to remember. First, divide the whole content into paragraphs and just put a heading for each. For example, the first one, introduction, 70 words. Then you come to academic experience or your academics. So you're writing 100 words on that. Then your important projects or internships, 100 to 150 words. Work experience, 100 words. What made you decide to go back to academia? Another 100 words. Why this university and why this program? 100 words. Your career goals, 200 words. Okay, that will give you around a total 1,000 to 1,200 words of complete essay. So when you are dividing this, or the way we do it, I make it in question format. Okay. So what has been the most important learning outcome in your work experience, be it internship or be it your full-time employment? Okay. Or what was the most important project, or talk about your most crucial project, whatever, a project or a publication or a research, what you have done academically beyond your syllabus or beyond academics to prove your mettle in that subject is what we call as the as something which is an achievement. So when we talk about an achievement, sometimes you may talk about an award that you have won, but do not write exactly the things which are there on the CV, because they already have, that information. I won a tech competition in my college when I was in the second year. So instead of talking more about the title, if that is something if that was a learning outcome for you, then definitely write in detail about that. Your achievements are important, which is there on your CV, but here, each of the things that you have experienced throughout your academic and professional career, what has been your learning experience? The learning experience is very important for the universities to know, because that would help them decide what you bring along with you as a future student. So it's not just you have to seek admission or the university is going to give you a lot. They just try to see that what is the kind of contribution a student can make. So in this area, when you talk about your academic and professional journey, do definitely include a short paragraph on your extracurriculars if you have done something really remarkable. Because although extracurriculars do not have direct impact on your admissions when it comes to masters, but then they always give the AdCom a very good idea that you have been multidisciplinary always. So it's not just you are doing your job only, but you are into so many other things. So you don't need to write a lot about your hobbies. That is not necessary. But if you have been somebody who has taken a responsibility of conducting events in your office or in your college, so if there was something really remarkable that shows your leadership skills, that shows that it was a learning experience for you and your execution capability, so these factors are what, when you put your extracurriculars, these are the things that should reflect. Now coming to your academics, you don't need to explain this was my bachelor's. You can just start, I did my bachelor's with electrical engineering from Indian Institute of Technology, Mumbai. If let's say if just this is the thing, you don't need to write your subjects and your how much marks you have scored, because your transcripts are there for that. Okay, so you can pick that, okay, while learning electrical engineering, when we had the module of robotics in our third year, and this is what gained my attention, because there were certain things which I enjoyed studying, and I gained a lot of information, knowledge, and that strengthened my foundation in this subject and really started to enjoy it. And I felt that, okay, this could be my possible career choice. Okay, so that means when you are talking in detail about a particular module in your academics, that should mean that, okay, that has been something which was highly impactful for you when you were doing your bachelor's, and that helped you decide your future career. So this is like very important. So I can say, while I was pursuing my bachelor's in international relations, the modules on conflict and gender violence was that touched me deeply. I read a few journals and a few literature on that, and I decided there is a lot to be done in this field, and I really want to focus and move forward with this field of research or with this field of expertise or work area. So it could be anything. Instead of listing your subjects, just discuss if that was something which was a turning point or you had a major learning outcome. Talking about your final year project or any research paper or any publication or any research project that you have done, not necessarily a publication always. So when you talk about that, it is very important, because that shows your skills of learning and implementing something. So as long as you say that, okay, I've scored 90% in all the subjects, that is good. You have theoretically done really well. But if you are capable of implementing what you have learned, and if that has been the thing for, I mean, since you were a student, so that is going to be really important. So highlighting those. So the point here is, you may say that we already have CV, so why do you need to write these? Because your CV will never talk about your learning outcome. Your CV will never talk about a failure from which you have learned in a project. Because many of my students, they even wrote about a project which was not successful, but they had tremendous learning outcome of them, and that really worked well for them. And it actually happens. The universities are really impressed that it's not that everything that we do will be a success, but that should leave some learning opportunity so that you can implement that further, and you can omit those errors. You can eliminate those errors that you did in the first place. Okay, so this is there. Same thing goes with work experience. So while you are writing of your work experience, don't talk about a lot of your job responsibilities directly. You can rather give them a holistic idea that, okay, this is exactly I do, and your experience in organization. As a person in organization, what are the enterprising skills that you have picked up during work? What were the challenges from a client, a difficult situation, a situation where you have worked well, you have kept calm, your leader was had to go on a leave suddenly, and you were given the responsibility. Anything, it may not be dramatic, but it should be something that you remember and you feel it's worth mentioning, rather than just writing those cliched line that I have been a software developer, or I have been a journalist, I have written so many articles. So it's not just that. Again, do not extrapolate your CV is the thing. Then finally, when you are writing about the university, or sorry, let's just first talk about the course. If you're writing about a particular course, so you should be able to establish a link between what you have done and then doing this course, how it's going to help you. So for example, I said I did my bachelor's in computer science, and I really started enjoying the courses with AI. I see a lot of research opportunities. I worked in a similar field for a couple of years, but now I feel this is the best time when I move ahead and go with a higher degree, because the academic foundation and strengthening my fundamentals academically is very important if I want to excel in this field, and hence my choice of going with masters in AI. So this clearly establishes a link that, okay, fine, I did this, then I understood this is what I want to do. This is where I want to bridge the gap between my skills and what I need to achieve to excel in this field, and that's why I have decided to go for this program. Attached to that, it'll always be like, we always make university specific SOP. So after going through that, when I came across the Masters in AI program at Carnegie Mellon University, I was delighted to see that they have the best of the research in the whole US, and they offer a number of courses which would help me establish the career of my choice, and then we go about it. Okay, so what you need to show is you know about the university, and it's just not the name. Please do not write CMU is a top ranked university or Georgia Tech has a great reputation, because then no, right? They are top ranked. Or if you're writing, okay, University of Pennsylvania is an Ivy League, they know they are Ivy, they know they have the reputation. Their purpose is they need to know why you want to join them, why you want to join UPenn and not Columbia or not anything. No, you don't need to mention that. So your reason behind joining, and it should be more or way beyond ranking and reputation or word of mouth. It should be more on your personal choice, interest, and career goal, which are very important. That needs to be written. Okay. Now, finally, coming to the last section, which is the second part. So far, we were doing personal statement, and then we have started doing our goals and then our career goal. Please be very specific and elaborate on this whole thing as much as you could. Even if you want to mention a few companies, a particular role, or what responsibilities you want to have for yourself, how do you plan, or how would you plan your career path? Everything should be a part of your career goal, and not merely one sentence that you write. Okay, uh, a non-generic, very specific, highly personalized thing should be there. So all these factors are so important, because the whole thing you have written about your academics, about your employment journey, about your social involvement, about your let's say important projects and research, then finally, if you are not able to explain this with the help of your career goal, then it remains incomplete. And that is where it is like really, um, you make a difference when you have everything. So often I get this question like, how important is an SOP? Like, is it just a formality? Let me tell you one example of a university, like let's say Stanford. They receive thousands of application. Their international acceptance rate is just 1%. And in that 1%, they love to read. For that 1%, they take the pain of reading so many SOPs, each of at least an average of 1,000 words. They're reading it across because that document is important. Let's say I and you, we both are two applicants and we both have a similar profile with respect to CGPA, with respect to job experience, with respect to research, or with respect to, let's just say, GRE scores. So all the objectives are matching. So this is where, the subjective comparison happens and one student is picked over another. So another, factor which is very important are the LORs that I'll discuss in the next session. But this is how SOP is important because they need to know that, okay, if you have your goal clarity, if you are the one who can articulate yourself very well, if you are the one who has some really good writing skills, you are the one who has a lot to contribute to the university, and that is valid for everyone. So a badly written SOP can definitely cause a rejection even if you have a brilliant profile. So mark my words. And I have seen students seeking active and serious help for writing a good SOP because over the years they have also understood that this is going to be a game changer. Now coming to another factor, which are the scholarships. So generally, when you apply to universities, you're considered for a scholarship directly with your admission application. So in that case, your essays, if you have the SOP or any other essay, that is very important. So that kind of research is very much needed. So quickly, if I summarize the do's, divide the whole content in paragraphs, 7 to 8 paragraphs, and put a title to each paragraph. No, you don't need to write the title when you make the final draft, but when you are making the rough draft, do that. Second, proofread always. Okay. If you have done it once, do it again. If you want to use a proofreading tool, then do that, but definitely do that. Punctuation errors, spelling mistakes are some things we should absolutely avoid. Okay. Third, using unfamiliar words or very difficult words, these are not advised because somewhere it takes away the natural strength of your SOP and it would appear more artificial. So we shouldn't do that. Try to use words through which you can express yourself the best. Okay. Then be very careful about the language, using colloquials or slangs or short spellings or something, the condensed forms always. So try not to use those because the writing skills are very important. Use a very formal tone. See, you are writing an abstract, but when you are writing a master's SOP, it is very important that you have a formal tone and you don't get dreamy suddenly. So this is a major difference between an between a under one bachelor's SOP or bachelor's essay or a master's essay. So by this fifth point, what I mean is, they want to know more about your practical experiences. Yes, you can, in the first paragraph of introduction, you can say that since childhood, I love to watch these kind of movies that had a lot of animation, and that's why I decided I would do a master's in communication designing or animation. So that is okay, your dream would always have a roots to from your childhood, where you enjoyed doing something, and that inspired you to have this as your career. But then don't be too dreamy that, okay, I watched that movie and the entire 2 paragraphs you're just writing about something abstract, and you're taking away the space of where you have to show your practical learning and experience. So this is what I call as keeping the tone more formal and professional, because when you are master's applicants, a lot of more professionalism is expected from this document. Okay. Then research very well about the program when you write it. Even if you're writing 2 sentences, that should make sense. And instead of writing that in US News or QS ranking, they are this, they are that, no, please don't write that, because that is not exactly they want to know. They know about it. They want to know why you have chosen us. So this can be done effectively. Suppose you talk about a module. So you can say that, okay, this is the module which I haven't found in many universities, but your university has it. And this is exactly which would help me set my foundation better. So this is the part what, has attracted me. So, for example, Northeastern University, they give them an additional engineering leadership certificate. So you feel that apart from taking my regular engineering course, this will be a very good value addition that will help me develop my enterprising skills. So this is an example. So you can take these examples. Okay. Now coming to the don'ts, a lot of them is there. First, it's you, only you. So no plagiarism. Do not copy it from any source of internet, and for that matter, not from any AI tool. You can always take the structure, you can always take help from some samples or from any AI tool, but remember your original touch has to be there. You shouldn't copy a career goal from anybody. It should be your career goal. Okay, you shouldn't borrow a reason from somebody else of why you want to join this university, or why you even want to go to the UK or to the US in the first place. But rather, this is you and it has to be you, right? So your experience is unique. Two people will not have exactly, the same experience growing up, learning experience, job experience. Somebody may have more challenges, for some people it could be easier. So keep it highly personalized. This is the thing. So don't copy or don't plagiarize it from any source. Second, grammatical errors are red flags. So avoid all kind of grammar errors. Proofread, and proofread. Take care of grammar, sentence construction, and vocabulary. Do not skip proofreading. Okay. First, do not plagiarize. Second, do not skip proofreading. Third, do not put a generic career goal. Please don't do that. I want to have a successful career by working in a big organization. No, not at all. A big no, absolutely. Because that is, the most, that could be the turn off of your entire thing when you don't have a clarity that what you want to do or what you are trying to do. I can say I want to work with tech giants like uh, Google or Microsoft, for example, in a role of a web developer or anything, or I want to work with the top design companies as a design thinking executive. I want to work in the field as a strategy consultant. I want to work as a business analytics engineer. And these are the areas I want to perform my research. I want to pursue my PhD in sustainability and climate change, anything. But there has to be this clarity has to be there. These are my target companies, these are my target sectors, these are the roles I want to do. I want to develop new tools for better healthcare system, tools for better education system, anything. I mean, it may not be a social cause, it can be anything. But what I'm trying to say is it has to be very precise and concrete. Okay, do not put a generic career goal. Next, which is very important, is when you are using the name of a professor. So when you are writing a master's SOP, do not put that as the main reason behind joining the university, because this is something which I have seen a lot of times students do, because they get the influence from somewhere. See, for masters, you don't specifically work under one professor for the rest of the 5 years. Okay, so you are taught by various professors, and slowly you get a chance to work under many or one of them. So while you are stating that this is the reason for joining the university, it may not go very well with the adcom in the first place, because that shows, okay, you, if you want to do that, why don't you apply for a PhD, or actually where, working with a professor is the most important thing. You can definitely mention a few professors that, okay, I really love the work of Mr. or Miss so and so. So keep that as an additional point and not the main point. What is what I am trying to say? Okay, you need to talk about research, faculty, curriculum, courses that align with your career goals, and then you talk about one or two particular professors that you are really impressed with the work of them. Okay, so this is how it should be, and don't simply put, I really want to join your university because of this professor. No, this is not how it is. Okay. um and finally, do not make it too lengthy or too short. The best one is 1200 words, that is the average. And do not use fonts which are not very formal. The best fonts to be used are Arial 10 Times New Roman 12. Okay, using standard fonts like this. So do not use random fonts, and do not go beyond the word limit, or do not make it too short. Generally, writing a short SOP is not a problem, not a thing, because students don't struggle. Okay, I have written 500 words and I don't know what to write more. That is not the thing. So mainly they struggle with the fact that, okay, I have written a 2000 words thing. So that is something which you have to pick and cut short. So do not go a lot beyond the word limit of 1200. Okay. Some universities may ask you to present a very short SOP of 500 words, and that is a challenge. But then we do that also. So that is where you have to think and articulate your points, decide which points are important, decide which factors are so important that unless you write it about yourself, you have to, you'll feel that the adcom would be missing on a lot. So include those. So here the most important points regarding an SOP I have discussed. Just what we have to keep in mind, that these 3 minutes, a written letter kind of a thing, an essay about yourself and your career aspiration, where the universities are getting to know you. It's very important. Start practicing or writing the SOP, or start taking the SOP very seriously right from the beginning. As soon as you are done with your standardized tests and you have shortlisted your universities, start thinking over your SOP, write the headings, write the other things which are, you think you should put it on your CV. It is always advisable to get your SOP evaluated by an expert. That expert can be, a study abroad consultant like us, or maybe your professors, any of your professor or any of your senior teacher who you think has a very good command over the language and who understands, okay, what an SOP should look like. So while you are writing it on your own, that is always good. I mean, definitely there's no harm in that. But when you are seeking expert advice, it always helps, because there is at least another person who can give their opinion, or who can tell you, okay, if you do as a reader, as a third person who is reading about you, doesn't know about it. This is exactly the situation you'll have. The adcom people, they don't know you, right? So when somebody who doesn't know you personally is reading through that, try to understand from the, are they getting the right glimpse of you as a person or your profile or not. So this opinion or this feedback is really very important for you to make a very strong and stellar SOP. It doesn't challenge your capability, because many times people think that, okay, I am capable and I can do that. So for that matter, being a study abroad expert for almost 12 years, and when I applied for my master's program to Oxford, I also got my SOP evaluated. So after being somebody who had written SOP for a long time, because that opinion or that feedback was absolutely necessary, because when you are doing that, a third person is reading it and you have to figure it out from them, that if they remain glued to the content, or if they are not getting distracted, or if they got to know you adequately after reading that, and besides, definitely, what are the errors that you have made and what are the improvisations you can do. Okay, so I really hope these all tips would be absolutely useful for you. And in our next session, we'll discuss another very important topic. And yeah, till then, stay tuned. Bye bye.